Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good weekend. We are all set for week 5 for the most part for EST 525, so we are hitting the halfway mark of our class. So I want to kind of do a run through of what you have this for this week coming up. There aren't a tremendous number of different things to do, but some of the things that we are doing are fairly in-depth. So I want to make sure that I get into those with you here. The lead presentation should be up in a little bit. That's not up yet, so but you're pretty good with that. You know what to do with that. So the first thing I want to get to is probably the most complicated, and that is deals with this week's graded assignment, which is dealing with Google Classroom. So the first thing you're going to do after you go through the Google Classroom modules and watch the tutorial video, what you are going to do is get signed into Google Classroom. Now it is important for us that you see it from both a teacher and student perspective. And I know most of you in Baldwin don't have access in your school accounts to Google Classroom. So in order to do this activity, you're going to need to use your Stony Brook Google accounts and your Stony Brook emails because you can't access Google Classroom with a personal Gmail account. So many of you are probably saying, but I don't have a Stony Brook email account, or I don't know what my Stony Brook email is. So that's going to be the first challenge for you. Every one of you does, in fact, have a Stony Brook email account. I have checked those this weekend to make sure. So you'll see here the first part is just getting started. It's how you find out the information to get logged into that. And so we go through that here. It gives you directions on how to do it. Your login for the Stony Brook Google is actually the same login as you use for Blackboard. So you go to stonybrook.edu, click on the quick links in the top right, Google Apps for Ed, and it gives you the information here. Once you're signed in, you're going to go to classroom.google.com. And if you've never been in a Stony Brook Google Classroom, the first thing that's going to come up is going to be likely a choice you're going to have where it's going to ask you whether or not you are a teacher or a student. This is very important. It is very important at this step you choose teacher. And that's why I made it big and highlighted it in red and bold-faced here, because I really want you to make sure you choose teacher there. Even though later on you're going to be looking in both a student and a teacher perspective, you have to choose teacher here. Otherwise, it's just a bit of a pain to undo. So once you do that, there's going to be two things that you're going to do. You will have been invited by me to be a teacher in one of the classrooms, and then you're going to be using a join code to join a second classroom as a student. Okay, so you'll probably see an invitation somewhere to join a classroom as a teacher, and an invitation from me, and then I'll show you where you get your join code. So we've broken the class into two groups, a red team and a blue team. And there are going to be two classrooms, the red classroom and the blue classroom. So in the red classroom is going to be right here with where the red team are teachers. And those are these students right here. Okay, so they are just going to have to accept the invitation. And in that red classroom, they're going to be teachers. The blue team, okay, are going to join that classroom as students. Okay, so that's going to tell you a little bit about that here. What you're going to do in order to join, I'll actually show you now. Okay, what you're going to do to join that classroom. I have to get signed into Stony Brook here. You're going to be, I'll jump back to this in a second. As it says here, there is a plus button, and you're going to click that, okay, and enter the join code. So here's the join code for the red classroom. All right, so once again, the red team doesn't have to use a join code to join the red classroom because they are the teachers and they've been invited as teachers. The blue team, these people right here, are going to use this code to join the red classroom as students. All right, and this looks like, so here's the plus button, so you'd click plus, join class, and you'd enter that code, okay? And so here is the red classroom. Okay, so you can see our teachers up at the top, and then they would be able to see students once we get people who join, okay? Once you're in the red classroom, okay, and you want to get to the blue classroom, you're going to click here, go to classes, and it shows all your classes up here. So the blue team is then going to be invited to join the blue classroom as teachers, okay, and the red team will join the blue classroom as students using the join code, just as I explained with the red classroom. So down below, it tells you what your tasks are as a student and what your tasks are as a teacher. So in the classroom that you are a teacher in, okay, you are all going to be adding an assignment using a Google Doc, okay? And again, when I say add an assignment, I'm not talking about anything complicated. You can see I did a sample assignment right here, okay? And we have to, oops. None of them are done yet. Here is your sample assignment right here. What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite food? Okay, so again, nothing challenging I'm asking you to do with that. And so all the teachers for this classroom are going to add an assignment. They are also going to link to a web page and to a YouTube video. Again, it's not important to me what those videos are, what that web page is. It's simply to get used to how you can do that. And you do that by clicking the plus down here, creating an assignment, and then you'll see where you can do that. Okay, and then you can also post a question and post an announcement, and that's also by clicking the plus button down here in one of those choices. Now, when you enter a classroom as a student, you can choose any one assignment that somebody has posted and complete it. All right, so it might be that one I posted, it might be one that someone else posted, and when you access it from the student perspective, it opens it up in your doc, and then you are going to fill it in, and then you click the turn in button in the top right hand corner. Okay, then you can respond to anyone's question and comment on a classmate's response. So that's the first thing. That is the graded assignment this week. Certainly if you have any questions on them, you can let me know. The next two are maybe somewhat of a little bit simpler. Okay, we give you three options for screencasts here. Now, a screencast is just when you basically record what's on a video screen or on your computer screen, and you can talk throughout it, just like I'm doing here. So these are three of the most popular options. So kind of play around with them and decide which one is your favorite one to use, because you are going to be making a screencast eventually. And that brings me to the final thing for right now. All right, this is going to be really important because you are now deciding whether or not you want to pursue being a Google certified trainer, or if you just want to use these Google tools to, for instructional purposes in the classroom. And so we break down the difference here between those two. If you're going to be a Google certified trainer, or that is your goal, then it is really important that, it's important even if you're not sure that that's the path you want to follow, because what happens is Google has a set of requirements that you need to fulfill in order to be a Google certified trainer. And so throughout this cohort, both the rest of this class and the next two classes, there will often be differences in assignments. And it'll depend on whether you're going to be a Google certified trainer or you just want to become what we call a Google integrated teacher, which is just someone who wants to take the Google tools and apply them in their classroom. If you want to be a Google certified trainer, then the assignments we lay out in each class will help you fulfill all the requirements to be a Google certified trainer, so that by the time we finish, you have finished the third class, you really just need to submit the application and you'll be in good shape. So what you're going to do, one step in that process is creating a video, okay? And we kind of explain what makes up the video here. That there are new requirements now. It's a 3-minute video. 30 seconds are sort of an introduction in why you want to be a trainer, and then the next 2.5 minutes you're giving a tutorial on how to use a Google tool. You're not doing that tutorial part in this class. You're simply going to do the introduction, okay? And what you're going to do today is sort of make a, or this week I should say, you're in a Google Doc. You're going to just be sort of writing what your introduction would be and how you want it to flow, bearing in mind that it shouldn't take more than 30 seconds when you're speaking it. So that's going to be it for this week. I actually said a lot, so there's a lot in there this week. Only a couple different tasks, but they are there's certainly depth to each of them. I certainly expect that you'll have some questions on these, so feel free to contact me throughout the week. If anyone wants a Google Hangout where I can answer some questions for you that way, I can make myself available for that. So good luck, and I look forward to interacting with you this week.